Hi everybody, welcome to Julie in the Garden. I am out here on this March evening, early March, in the orchard to take a look at my fruit trees. Let me tell you what I'm thinking first, because I'm not exactly sure how this video is going to go. So I was going to come out here and just do a little bit of pruning, and then I'm hoping to train them this spring and summer, a lot of the limbs on these smaller trees. And I'm also taking a look at my pear tree right now, which is in front of me, and I have a couple different thoughts. I have actually been doing the course by Stefan at Miracle Farms on he's a pruning course. So I'll have that linked below. And one of the things he mentioned, I don't know if he mentioned this in a course, but he mentioned this in another video, that with young fruit trees, he might not even like touch them or prune them at all. And it seems like a lot of the pruning in all of his videos are on slightly more mature trees. And he also really likes to focus on training. And I really want to do that. And so for that reason, I'm going to be looking at them. I know the general rules of dead, diseased, deformed, crossing, rubbing limbs. Want to get rid of those. And I kind of know the structure I'm going for, clear the chimney. But these trees they went in the ground here about 2 years ago or so. And then, I guess a little less than 2 years ago in the spring. And we're probably about a year old, maybe two, when they did that. I got them as nursery whips. So they're still really young. And I think for the most part, if I train them, then that will work better, I think, than doing heavy pruning at least. So I'm going to take a look at them and see what I think. I'm also looking at the pear tree, which just really has a lot of suckers coming up out of it, which is probably from a pretty heavy pruning job the past few years. And because I did that, I don't want to do as much. We also lost a couple limbs from heavy fruit this last year. So I'm going to be looking at all those things today, and I'm just going to take you along with me and tell you what I'm thinking. Okay, so I am standing here in front of my little Zestar apple tree. It is maybe 4.5 feet high to the very top, or a little more, maybe a little bit more than that. And it actually is looking pretty good to me. I mean, some of these limbs I definitely want to train to make the angles wider. I'm going for something more like that at the beginning here. Once it gets mature, I might try Stefan's. He makes them lower for apple trees, lower than horizontal, facing down, because that's like the more fruiting mature tree. But since I really still do want these to grow quite a bit, this is gonna be a standard. This is a standard size tree, so it's gonna get much bigger than this. I do want it to keep growing, but I want to make sure that I get the angles a little wider. There's also, let's see here. I was looking at this before I turned on the video. You know, these two are kind of close, like right on top of each other, but there's both good branches, and I don't want to get rid of one right now. So I think what I'm going to do is try to train this one slightly more to this side. But again, this spring and summer is a better time to do that with the apple trees. So I'm not going to do that right now. Otherwise, it's looking pretty good to me. So I'm leaving this one alone for right now. Happy with it. So this is a Duchess of Oldenburg apple, also planted 2 years ago. And these angles are even more severe, so definitely will be training some of these. There are actually 2 small cuts I want to make to this one. Now, okay, so this is interesting. So I don't know if I can tell from here, but when the first year, soon after it was planted, this one was was feathered, I think is what it's called. It actually had a few limbs when I got it from the nursery, or a few branches. Not as many as it has now, but it had a few. And then they got nibbled by deer that same year that they were planted. So, I mean, it came back fine, but it was kind of pruned by the deer. I think this is probably where that was, there in a couple places. And so I definitely, the branches might be a little stiffer because of that, because they're basically headed back. But I basically want to train these to just be at a wider angle. And then the 2 I'm looking at taking off are right here. So this one's going to be going, like, I guess in the future I could train it that way, but I think this is going to be going, like, hitting the other ones in a bad direction. And this one's kind of in the middle, coming out there. And so in terms of clearing the chimney, which I'll focus on more when the trees are bigger, I think those 2 are definitely going to go. Yeah, the other little ones I'm going to leave for right now, because again, the tree is so young, and see how they grow this year. And I can always take them out in future years, but I yeah, so I'm just going to do these. And these are Felco pruners. They were cleaned off with an alcohol solution. And I'm just going to go ahead and let's see. Oh, did not do a good job there. This is not my good hand. Hold on. Okay. That was better. And this one here. There we go. So, and I'm just leaving those down for right now. Those are tiny pieces. They're not going to bother me. When the snow melts, they'll just be part of the wood mulch. This one is a peach. And again, I'm going to leave it. I don't see anything that can't be taken care of in future years. Try training it first. There's a lot of, there's a lot of branches coming out actually from last year. They're a little smaller than I would like. It was so dry last year. This year I'm going to be more focused on making sure they have enough water, even if it's a dry year. And I'm also going to be giving them some fertilizer this spring along with compost. I gave them compost last spring and more mulch. This year I'm adding the fertilizer in the spring, and then I will hopefully also be adding compost and extra mulch in the fall. So yeah, that's the little peach. We're just moving right along. There is a lot more going on with this tree here. This is our semi-dwarf Liberty apple. It's the only semi-dwarf in the orchard. This one actually fruited a little bit last year. I picked the little fruit off because I didn't want it to yet. Most of this, again, I'm going to try training, but there are a few things I'm going to take care of. So right here, you can see this one's coming directly into the middle of the tree, and I'm not going to be able to train that out. So that's going to go. I also have one coming at the bottom here. I'm just going to go ahead and snip that off. There are a few that I think will be questionable in the future, but for right now, I'm going to see what happens. This one was nibbled a little bit this year, actually, in a couple places. The one I'm noticing right here, let's see, I have my pruners in my hand, but right here, that was nibbled. And I don't really want this one taking over, so I'm just going to take this one back right there. And we'll see. I'm hoping either this one comes out that way or it comes out this way. So, and I'm debating about this one here because you could see the buds here. I could cut it back to that and then it might come out this way. We'll try it and see if it's far enough from the other ones in the future. So we'll try that. I'm also just going to I think this is where it was nibbled in past years, and I didn't cut that part off. So there's some places where it was nibbled, and then you could see it looked like somebody else did a heading cut on it, and it was the deer. So yeah, I think the rest of them I'm going to see if I can train. And so like here, this one's sticking straight up, but I might be able to train it this way, which would be better than just getting rid of it, I feel. And here, you can see at the top here, it looks like they're going to cross. They're not actually touching right now, but this one I'm hoping to train farther down this way. This is an interesting tree in that it's growing like it comes out and then curves up more steeply. So I'm hoping to be able to get that angle a little bit better, especially that branch there. So again, that'll happen this spring. But I think, let me see, coming around this way for a minute, looking into some things. Yeah, there's just some interesting stuff happening because the deer were pruning for me. And again, if I move this down, then that won't be touching either. Is this a bud or no, that was nibbled too. So let me actually take that down. I decide what bud I want to take that down to. Hold on. So I pay attention to what bud I'm leaving because that's where it's going to come out. So like this, if this is a living bud, would be a good one because then it would keep going that way. So I might try that this year. And right, if I don't get this exactly right, it's not the end of the world. I just am doing a little bit, so the tree will be fine. And this is my first little orchard, so I'm just doing my best. This here is our old peach tree that was here when we moved in, and it's been just like dying and dying and dying. And we didn't get any fruit this past year. I don't know if any of it is still alive, to be honest. I think like the tippy top might be, but we're just going to cut it down. But that does not need to be done when it's so cold out. It's in the 20s today. Things are supposed to start warming up after this, which is why I chose now. It's also a waning moon, and we get a lot of precipitation in the spring. So in the forecast, this was, a couple dry days in the forecast. So I decided to just come out and do it now. It seemed like the best time to just do a little pruning. Okay, so the pear tree. I've been staring at it for a while, and I have a couple thoughts. One, some of the stuff I want to take care of is up high, and I can't do that today. I'm almost 7 months pregnant, and I'm not climbing up the tree, obviously. A lot of the stuff I want to take out are suckers or water spouts, and I do want to try, with some of them at least, training them. So Stefan comes in and just kind of tries to press these down and turn them into fruiting branches, and sometimes they just break off, and yep, okay then. That didn't work for me. I might try that with some of them, see if it works. The ones in the middle here, though, are in what we call the chimney of the tree, and I'm just going to take them out. But what I'm thinking is, because they're water spouts, I want to do it during the summer, when we're going to take the vigor away instead of trying to stimulate more growth. So I think I'm actually, as unsightly as they are, going to leave them for a little bit and take care of it later this year. Before going down to the potager to see the quince tree and the elder down here, I wanted to take a look at these two elders here. And they were planted 2 years ago as well. And so none of the wood is really old enough that I feel like it needs to be taken off for that reason. And there are some pieces here. Let me just get in here and show you, because I should have this with the other one actually. These were nibbled a while ago. And so those ends are actually dead, and so I can just pull those off. And then there's buds here, and so that's the only thing that I'm doing really. This one here, I think. But other than that, I want to leave them be. I feel like my trees could have grown more last year, but we had a hard year, so I'm hoping to give them some babying this year. We're going to be putting more stuff. We're going to be putting more beds along here with these trees this year too, and hopefully do some stuff to discourage the weeds. I did want to mention, I don't know if you could see them over there, there's the blueberry bushes in the middle of the berry garden there, and they're not very old either. They are 1 and 2 years old from being planted, so I'm not going to mess with those this year. I need them to grow more. Just going to let them be. I did look them over. I don't see anything that's dead, diseased, or a problem. Actually, before we go to the potager, let's quickly look at those cherry trees back there, though. So these are cherry trees. Here's one here, and then there's one a little farther over there. It's so cold, I don't want to walk all the way over there. That one's super small. I am not touching that one at all. That one came as a whip. And this one came, it must have been older than the other trees we've gotten. We planted it this past spring. But it was definitely bigger when we planted it. So again, I think it just needs some training. I'm leaving it. I'm not going to try to do an open vase structure with it. It already has that nice leader. A lot of times apparently it grows into a modified leader, and I think the nursery had already made some cuts, so it looks like that might be what's happening up here. One of these ones will turn into a kind of modified leader going out to the side a little bit, and if I train that branch, it won't be as close to the other one. So again, nothing here that I'm going to address right at this moment. There are some nice buds on there. I don't know how old it was when we put it in, so it's possible we could get some fruit. I don't know. So we'll see. Now we're going to move on to the potager. I just wanted to stop for a minute and show you all these creatures' tracks that I'm standing in the middle of out here. There's been quite a lot of things happening out here in our yard. Oh, all right. So we're going to head to the potager now. Okay, we have to work a little bit fast because the sun's going down, but this is a quince tree in the middle of the potager. There's still so much snow out here. So it feels like there's a lot going on with this. There's just a lot of little branches. It almost looks like it's trying to have 2 leaders. The one on the left, I'm going to try to train down more, and I'm going to let the one, the big one that's on the right there, grow up to be the leader, I believe. So that's the plan. They both have a lot of beautiful branches on them. Again, I don't want to do too much, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off some of those little ones that are just facing in towards the middle, because as they grow, that'll be a bit more problematic. And then in future years, I can always take out more of those branches that are not serving the tree well. But again, we're going to do minimal amount here. I think there's just going to be more little branches coming off than there were for some of the other trees. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. So when I train some of these won't be as much towards the middle. So that's the tricky part. I'm going to take minimal amounts off. So I'm going to go for this one right here. Take that one off. This one, some of these are just really close to the inside of the tree as well. So I'm going to get those. And this one here, I think, is going right into that branch there. Down here, I think I'll do this one. And this one here. I don't know. A lot of you would probably do a lot more than that. But it's just so little that I kind of just want to see what happens with these branches. Again, I can always cut them later. But I'd kind of like to see how they develop. So, yeah, I think that's all I'm doing with that today. Let's go check out the elder in the corner. Okay, so this is an elder that's in the potager here, and it grew beautifully. It's planted the same time as the other elders, and it's doing much better. I think it gets more sun, to be honest. And being in the potager here, it might just have more, I don't know, nutrients or water, whatever it is. But here it is. Again, it's pretty young. So there's no wood that I want to cut off because it's old. However, I'm not planning on training this like I'm going to my fruit trees. It could be called a tree sometimes, but it's more of a shrub the way it grows. So there are a couple branches that they seem a little problematic to me. So I'm just going to go ahead and take them out. So this one here is coming up and rubbing here, and I don't want that. So I'm going to go ahead and take that one out. I'm going to grab that. Actually, I'm not going to just leave it. And I will snip that. Also snip that there because that's dead. And so this bud would come out here. And since that's already there, that's not really helpful. So that's going to come out. This here, right above that bud. That bud goes that way. That's fine. These are some bits that have died back already here that I'm just gonna go ahead and get out of the way. Let's see. This is the one I already did. I was like, that's a weird thing. Okay. So, I mean, this whole branch is kind of like in that branch, but I want to leave it. I'm gonna leave it. I think it'll be okay. Let me come around to this side here. I don't know what's going on with this down here. I think it's actually dead. So I'm just going to go ahead. If I can reach. Just take that out there. Would have been better to get all the way to the bottom, but I can't quite reach it right now. So, all right. Over here. We have another. So some of this might have been nibbled, to be honest. I want this one to come up there. So I'm going to take it there. And there. All right. Let's see. I see one more on the other side I want to address. I can get over there. These here are a little kind of close together and all over the place. And so I think I'm going to take this out. And I'm hoping that'll allow for something. This looks like this was eaten here. So let me go ahead and do that. Also, some of these were eaten and now are just in the way. These have pretty cool buds. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see. Yeah. All right. So hopefully we got a few elderberries off of this year. And hopefully we'll get some more this next year. Oh, I see some more dead ones over here. I'm just going to clean it up a bit. Again, there's mulch under this, so these ones are just going to be in the mulch. I don't even need to clip that one. All right. over here. So you're just coming along with me while I'm thinking out loud to you. These pieces over here are dead. So, I mean, there's already buds growing there. So this one would grow right into that one. So we're just going to take this back down here, and maybe one of those will grow up that way. We'll see. Do you guys see anything else? I don't know. It's a handsome elder. I'm excited about the flowers and berries this year. Yeah, it seems a lot taller when I'm not standing on several inches of snow. I got maybe at least 6 inches going on here in the garden. So I'm partially standing on top of and sometimes sinking into. So it's nice to get outside, but it is cold. So I'm looking forward to the days getting warmer. In the forecast, all the highs after today, in the 10-day forecast for us at least, are above freezing. So that's really exciting. I think there might even be some in the 40s. Crazy. So I'm excited for that. But that was a good task to get done today. Try not to sink while I talk to you. Hopefully this makes sense to you. But since my trees are just so small, I really feel like leaving them be for the most part is really the best option. So I wanted to share my thinking on that with you. And in future years, once they get bigger, I'm sure I could do more detailed pruning videos. And I'm going to see what happens with the pear tree. Next year, there will, especially if I don't do much this year, there will probably be more with the pear tree that I can share with you. And additionally, we do have some stuff we need to take care of, but I need my husband's help to take down some lilac branches on a really old lilac, and to take down the peach tree. And I want to ask him to come out in 20-degree weather to do that. So plus, it's helpful if he watches the little ones for me. So that's all I've got for you today. I hope you're having a wonderful day and enjoying gardening. Until next time, happy gardening.